Hello everyone. Today's topic is about racism in China. This is kind of an interesting topic to cover here in China. Do I believe Chinese people are racist? Do they really hate people from other races? And the answer is no. They don't really hate people. They don't have like this hatred towards others, and they don't want to hit others or spit at them or insult them. They're a fairly peaceful people. But that being said, they do have stereotypical views of other races, and they do treat them bad, and there is a sort of a double standard that exists in the Chinese society. For one, there is racism practiced against Chinese in outside of China, and in some instances it really is really racist. And the Chinese have every right to call other cultures out. And at times it's not really racism, but it's perceived racism. But the thing is, when racism occurs outside of China, people are held accountable. Let's say something were to happen in the West, let's say in the United States. If there's an incident of racism, for instance, you could lose your job. And this is, based on any race. Like if you're racist towards Asians, blacks, whites, it doesn't matter. You will lose your job. If you go to HR, as long as you can provide proof and you have evidence that someone said something racist, that person automatically will lose their job. But in China, that's not the case. In fact, some commercials and some behaviors are so racist in China, yet they are tolerated. Let me show you what I'm talking about.
改变只需一颗俏皮洗衣溶珠，俏皮全国招商热线400-800-5086。
National was captured on video insulting Kenyans and the president is being deported. Liu Jiaqi was referred to Kenyans as, quote, poor black smelly monkeys, end of quote, is being deported this evening. His flight is set to leave the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport at 10:45 p.m. The Ministry of Immigration says he was deported on racism grounds hours after his permit for selling motorcycles was cancelled. The Chinese embassy in Nairobi says that the remarks were personal and do not in any way represent the views of the vast majority of Chinese people.
Really?
Yeah, it's like you are punishing me.
It is a clip that has gone viral on social media. Chinese national identified as Liu Jiaqi hurling insults at Kenyans. In the video captured by an employee at his motorcycle shop in Ruiru, he refers to Kenyans, including President Uhuru Kenyatta, as monkeys.
This is all the Kenyans, like a monkey. Even Uhuru Kenyatta. All of them.
It's like a monkey.
Yeah, sure.
The president of this country.
Yeah, sure.
India video has emerged from China that shows the Chinese state media mocking and insulting a Sikh man. The video mocks India over the Doklam standoff. Well, this is in fact the video that's in fact been broadcast.
As you can see from that laundry detergent commercial, it was quite heavy racism. I mean, it was really in-your-face racism. Like a black guy going inside a washing machine and coming out as an Asian guy. I mean, that is so obviously racist. It's 100% racism. And there's no room to even debate. It's so obvious. Like in certain circumstances, if something is racist or it's not racist, it's debatable, right? Sometimes there's like wiggle room. And sometimes it's not racist, but people are too overly sensitive and any small spark can, make them react. But in this instance, it really is super racist. Like imagine if the roles were reversed and I got a Chinese guy and I put him inside a washing machine, and he came out as a black guy or a white guy. How do you think Chinese people would react? See, that's kind of a huge double standard. Another thing was the other clip that I showed of collaboration. It's a play, a collaboration between Africans and Chinese, where basically they're trying to act out their relationship between the African continent and China as a country. And that play was racist. It wasn't very racist, to be honest, but it was somewhat racist, right? The way they show that Africans are really fat and they're lazy and they're like slaves. They're giving bananas and apples. They're not really productive. I mean, that's the perception I got. It wasn't super racist, but it was somewhat racism. It was some type of racist feel to it. But the point is that if you're going to make racist commercials and you're going to make racist plays for the whole world to see, and then at the same time you're going to complain about other cultures treating you bad, that's a double standard. You have no right to even talk about anything. Because even when racism happens to Chinese abroad, it's not like a huge commercial or a huge TV ad or something that's accepted. In fact, if you're racist, for example in Germany or the United States, you can be fired from your job easily. It doesn't matter if you're racist towards a white person, an Asian, black, Latino, Middle Eastern, it doesn't matter. The point is the behavior is unacceptable. I'm going to show you an Italian ad about pasta, and there's a Chinese actress acting in it. And she's eating pasta with chopsticks to show that, Chinese have a different culture. And the way she was holding the pasta and eating it. So basically when Chinese people saw this ad, the majority of them said it was super racist and stuff. But it's not. To be honest, it's not. It's not even open to debate. I think it's quite obvious that it's not in your face blatant racism. It could be argued that it is kind of racist because here's the thing. Someone could say, well, I wanted to show that Chinese are different. They come from a different civilization and they use chopsticks when eating, noodles. Noodles are like pasta. Whereas in the West, it's different. So it was a different combination of cultures coming together. That could be argued, right? It could also be argued that no, that the Italian person deliberately wanted to make this Chinese person seem dumb, uneducated, and uncivilized, that she didn't know how to use a fork, she had to use the chopsticks, right? And obviously, both scenarios could be argued in this specific ad. But the point is, in the laundry detergent ad, it was clear-cut, it was super racist. And yet, nobody opened his mouth in China. No one said, you know what, this is so racist, this is unacceptable. People just kept their mouths shut and they kept going on their, normal lives. So accountability is key, and it doesn't really happen here.
A tongue-in-cheek advertising campaign, a series of videos showing a Chinese model eating Italian foods like pizza and pasta with chopsticks.
Very small.
But it didn't take long before the brand behind it, Italian luxury house Dolce & Gabbana, faced accusations of racism. Within hours, the hashtag Boycott Dolce was trending on Chinese social media site Weibo, with many users accusing the company of, quote, trivializing China's centuries-old culture. The backlash further intensified after screenshots of messages sent from co-founder Stefano Gabbana leaked on the platform. They appeared to show Gabbana referring to China with crude terms and emoji while defending the video campaign. Dolce & Gabbana has now apologized, saying its account and that of its co-founder were hacked.
We are very sorry for any distress caused by these unauthorized posts. We have nothing but respect for China and the people of China.
Amidst the backlash, the brand had to cancel a fashion show scheduled on Wednesday night. This after several models said they would not attend. It's not the first time Dolce & Gabbana has been accused of racism towards China. Last year, it published a campaign on Weibo depicting Beijing as an underdeveloped city. The post was later deleted after complaints from local officials.
What is my conclusion? What am I trying to say? Am I trying to create some sort of hatred towards China and the Chinese people? Of course not. It's the other way around. Because I like China a lot and I'm impressed with its historical achievements as a civilization and as a country, I expect much better from the Chinese public. If you look at ancient China, throughout the different dynasties, there were already great inventors and philosophers and people who had high moral value, and they had courage, and they fought for what was right, and they stood up for what was right. And unfortunately, that seems to have been lost in modern day China. Where is the modern Confucius in China? He just does not exist. So what I call all Chinese to go back to their old traditional values so they can create the most prosperous country on earth. And I don't mean from an economic standpoint, I also mean from an intellectual standpoint and from a moral standpoint.